we were talking about the client-centered therapy by Carl Rogers, if you remember, right? Should we wait for some more to join?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2 minutes then, okay. Let others join. Any doubts you have, you can, or anything that you want to ask or clarify with me, you can do that now.
Ma'am, can you briefly tell about solution focused therapy? SFT?
Solution. I skipped all this short therapies actually, solution focused therapy, and there is a brief therapy also, which is used in cognitive behavior therapy methods. Solution focused therapy is you are focusing on the solution. You don't talk about the problem so much. The client will go on and on. So it will be a short therapy. How many sessions? I don't remember. Do you have the book with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Just see the sessions. It also involves maximum 5 to 10 sessions, maybe, because you're focusing on the solution. So when you're talking to the client or the person who is coming for counseling, you are asking fixed questions which will be focusing on the solution only. SABT. How many sessions it has written?
It is not clarified well.
Solution focused therapy. It is in which block?
Ma'am, it is unit 3,
Unit 3 we of
of I think second block.
Block 2, Unit 3. SABT I saw that way and I skipped it because it's not possible to teach
Yeah, I know
everything.
that. But
Hmm.
that's why I told you that
Hmm.
briefly.
Yes. So basically, it is a very short therapy for the reason that it is not focusing on the problem so much. In classic psychoanalytic approach, you focus on the problem and you dig out for more problem. You talk to the client about their childhood issues and all that in detail. So the maximum sessions are taken in that way. But here in other cases, the fixed sessions will decide actually how many times you're going to meet the client and how you are going to approach. So the approach is very specific.
Ma'am, in this therapy, the cause is known to the therapist. And what's the
Yes, of
problem?
course. Yes, when you are establishing rapport also, you are not being judgmental, right? So the client will be the therapist has to be non-judgmental, unconditional, positive regard, all that you have studied, right?
Okay, ma'am. So that only the result. No.
So you will be focusing on the once you listen to the problem. In other therapies, you let the client speak.
Yes, ma'am.
They will go on and on about the complaints or issues that they're having because this is the first time they're opening about some issues that they're having in life. Okay,
Yes.
so here it is different. So it is solution you are trying to find out with the solution along with the client's involvement. Mm. In other therapies, you are continuing on solving problems only. So it becomes like a problem solving session. Sometimes you would feel, what am I doing? I'm getting involved with the issues of the client also. Sometimes the therapist might get diverted by focusing on the problem. Okay. In solution focused brief therapy, you are only focusing on the solution. Another, even in in other means in psychoanalytic approach, in behavioral approach also, you analyze the present problems, the past causes, what makes the person or what made the person think that way. All that is analyzed. We talked about analyzing the issue, right? Before, remember,
Yes,
out of
ma'am.
the methods. So here you are not analyzing the problems
Ma'am,
or the,
here in intervention, scaling is also there. The counselor uses a scale of 0 to 10 with clients with
hmm.
10 representing.
Yes, you will be asking the client, you are feeling distressed. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put your problem? So it will be very brief. Then you look for the solution. The scale is specifically used for solution focused brief therapy. You design it, isn't it? Or it is
Yes,
written there
ma'am,
is
I
a scale.
understand.
Got my point?
Yes, yes, yes.
There is no scale as such which you will use specifically for solution focused therapy. You are talking to the client, for example, in your therapist room, for example, let's say you have a counseling room, there is nobody, so you are having unconditional positive regard to the towards the client. Also, you are not being judgmental, so the client is free to talk to you. So what will happen? The client will go on and on about the problems. So to focus his attention also, sometimes you have to be very specific. So you have to think specifically which will be the question which will divert the mind of the client from problem areas and focus on finding a solution. Okay. So if the client is deciding to talk about 10 problems, you are bringing it down to 5 problems by asking just the right question. Somebody is saying, my father was abusive, he used to beat me physically, he used to beat my mother also, and there was so much stress at home, he used to have alcohol, all these problems. So you have to think of one question which will lead you towards solution. So you can say, okay, your father was not a very pleasant person to interact with. So on a scale of 0 to 1 or 1 to 10, 0 to 10, where would you place your father's behavior?
Ma'am,
0
zero is
being,
the host problem. Here it is written that zero is the host problem.
and that is up to you how the scale is made. I'm just saying it for example.
Okay, okay.
Have you done scale construction? Sometimes you put the highest on 0, sometimes you put the highest on 10 also.
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Oh. So it's not important to know whether 0 is carrying the maximum points for somebody and 10 no points for somebody. It can be anything. I'm just saying for example, so it will give you an idea. So the person will say, I will put my father on abusive behavior and including all that he has done in our family to destroy the family coherence. I would put him on the point 8 or 9 maybe, where 0 is no abuse, 10 is maximum abuse. Okay. So that way you are focusing the attention on the behavior of the problem or on the problem behavior of the father, and also you are reducing the time by focusing on the solution. Then you talk about so how you think it should change. So you're talking about the solution. The client will give you some insight about how he thinks should be the right thing to do. So I think my mother should raise her voice against the abuse that he is doing to her or whatever. or against the beating or something. Okay, so the idea is to bring out the solution from the client only. You are not there, oh, this is very bad. You should not be judgmental if you have done with other teachers. The courses indicate you are doing other classes on counseling and all, right? You have counseling also as a paper.
Yes, ma'am. We have counseling, IO, and clinical.
Okay, so you must have studied about the do's and don'ts of counseling.
Ma'am, I am taking clinical.
You have, oh, this is an option, either counseling or
Yes,
clinical,
ma'am. It is optional subject.
optional. But you know that in counseling situations or therapy situations, you are not supposed to be judgmental. You should not give your judgmental opinion to the client,
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, I
right?
know, ma'am.
Okay, so you are not there sitting with the client and add more to the worries of the client. Oh, okay, this is so bad. It must be awful. Your father is beating you so much. He is verbally abusive. So it must be feeling very bad. You must be crying. Your younger siblings are okay with that. Your mother is crying. Oh, okay, it's such a bad situation. You are not supposed to say that, right?
No, no,
So
ma'am. This is so embarrassing.
embarrassing is there are some moral things you should follow also,
Yes.
in addition to the do's and don'ts of counseling. Morally, you are demeaning somebody who is not directly affecting you. And there are points where the process says that you should not judge the situation. Because if you call the father separately and talk to him, the father would have 10 points to complain about the family. My wife doesn't give me food in right time when I'm going for office. I'm always late and I'm getting a blasting from my senior. That is why I get irritated, and when I come home she doesn't sit with me. She watches TV, so I get abusive. Anything, the father must be having his own viewpoints
Yes,
also.
ma'am.
Okay, so you should not be judgmental and adding more to the problems existing in the client's life. So here, you will do, you will guide the client to come up with possible options where you can decide together that okay, this is going to work. So how the person who has come for counseling didn't know that suddenly there is an insight into the solution, that because he is getting a guidance how to think. He was so confused. Now that he is confessing anew and he has somebody to guide, he would know actually where to focus. So you will be writing down the solutions. Okay, that way it is done.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, I hope that is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't do that because it's so self explanatory and it is a small therapy. So I had to skip many things. Okay, but since I have given my number, you can go through the book, and if you find anything difficult, you can clarify later on also. Okay, so the client centered therapy is an approach which is focused on the client again. Carl Rogers is the founder of this approach to counseling. It is also known as person centered approach. It is called person centered approach, non directive counseling, or client centered counseling. It can be used in any setting. So, in this method, actually, it is not required to have a psychological training extensively. You don't have to study the tray, or you don't have to be trained in this method to do this counseling. So, many practicing counselors have adopted this approach because of its simple nature. Okay. So it views the main points that you should be looking for in client-centered therapy is you should be focusing on. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in Rogers client-centered therapy, it is seen that human beings are always good and they want to become fully functioning to live effectively as in maximum. Their focus is also on to become a fully functioning individual, and their nature is basically good. And if he also says, Carl Rogers says that if people are permitted to develop freely, they'll flourish and become positive by any individual, the goals that they are having in their life, they can achieve. Okay, this is the basic foundation that it talks about. So it expresses faith in human nature. We will not call this person as badmash and all. So everybody is positively looked at and they are assumed to be good human beings. It is based on the theory of personality, which is referred to as self theory. Okay. So the client therapist perception of people is based on four key beliefs. Since it is considering individuals as good human beings, it says that the four beliefs are: number one is people are trustworthy, second is people innately move towards self actualization and health. You clarify anything that is confusing for you when I'm telling you, because I am reading these 4 points from the book only that is given to you. Okay? And people have inner resources to move themselves in positive directions. Fourth point is people respond to the uniquely perceived world. So it says that there is a possibility of people being trustworthy all the time. So you can take the person into account and trust him and tell him what is expected of him, and it will be sorted in no time. That is why it is saying that it doesn't require so much training to be a counselor in using the methods of client-centered therapy. Okay. So the goals of client-centered therapy are the goal is to provide a safe, caring environment where the client will get to tap the positive elements of themselves. Normally, people are not aware about themselves. If I ask you how much you know about yourself, will you be able to tell? Hmm? You know yourself completely, or there are some untouched parts by you also which you are not aware about yourself. What would you say to that question? How much you know about yourself? Anyone? So when there is a safe and caring environment, maybe you don't find this environment caring and safe, so you are not answering. But you can say in yes or no or percentage of knowing yourself. That is exactly what matters in counseling. If it is a safe environment and caring environment, you trust the environment, you will come up with answers and your problems. So here, when the client is sitting with the therapist, the idea is to provide a safe and caring environment where the client will feel free to tap into the essential elements of themselves and know themselves, which are maybe hidden from them. For example, the client is talking about problems or solutions. We'll take the same example where the father is abusive and is getting is an alcoholic and gets abusive towards wife and children. Okay, so in this case, the client is the child, the eldest child of the family. So he is trying to find out in what way he can bring some peace to the family. So in such a case, when you are asking the client how much you know about yourself without being judgmental, and your tone will decide actually are you being judgmental or you are asking a very friendly question. So your facial expressions, everything will matter. Okay, so when you are asking them how much of they know themselves, suddenly they will be finding things about themselves. This, for example, this boy will say, who has come for the session, "Oh, I know myself 80%. He would say, how much you know about yourself? Okay, 80%. What about the rest 20%? So let's try what you don't know about yourself. Hmm, let's try. Let me find out. You cannot say another 20%. I'm going to tell you about it. These are my observations. This is what you are. You are not going to say like that. Okay. Suddenly you keep on encouraging the person or be with the person when they are finding the solution. So he comes up with the idea that, okay, we all can gather together when father comes home, so that he will not have the guts to hit his wife. Okay, so this is an insight into the inner world of the client who is sitting there, which he never knew that he could do that also. He could be standing for his mother. So the client is coming up with the idea that we can all sit together, brothers and sisters, along with mother, and instead of watching TV, we can just be there and playing some game or make the environment happy, which will not irritate the father who is drunk and coming home. Something like that. The person comes up with answer to the problems that he is discussing with the therapist. Okay, so this is how you come up with the solutions to the situation. So, person centered therapy is you are actually focusing your all attention on the person who is trying to find out ways of life to be changed. In what way and in what capacity they can function in the environment that is a problem for him and for others also. Okay, so two primary goals of person centered therapy are increased self esteem and greater openness to experience. So, the goal is to increase the self esteem. Being in such a situation, we'll take the same example again. In a very abusive environment, the person will not feel good and the self esteem will be very lowered, for the fact that they will be ashamed of their behavior, the father's behavior. उनको लगता होगा अरे पड़ोस तो सुन लिए होंगे, so when they look at the neighbors eyes also, they will feel like thieves, as if they are seen through. So the self esteem will go bunkers, and greater openness to experience. When the goal of person centered therapy is discussed, there will be focus on greater openness to experience. There will be some of the related changes that this form of therapy will seek is closer agreement between the client's idealized and actual selves. The client's self ideas or self concept will be realized. So the client will have a idealized self and an actual self. Actually, the client is not so weak, but he feels weak because of the family situation that
Ma'am,
is very negative.
ma'am, it is
Yes.
including innateness theory.
Sorry.
Ma'am, in this therapy is including innateness theory.
Which theory? Innateness theory.
Yes, ma'am.
Self
Ideology, self concept, self esteem.
not the theory as such. concepts. These are only concepts which
Okay.
or terms we are using to explain the points that we are discussing as the changes that the therapy will be achieving in the client. Clear? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
let me put it this way. So, the focus here, since the first thing that I said here is the client is the focus here in client centered therapy. So, you are working with the client only, you're not bringing the family. Family therapy we'll discuss again. Even if the problem is starting with the family, you are working with the client who doesn't have any issues as such, but it is the family environment which is disturbing the child or youngster who has come for help because he feels very distressed. Sometimes he feels like leaving home and go somewhere. Sometimes he wants to kill himself because he feels so humiliated when he goes to the neighborhood. Okay, so in such a case, what happens is when the therapist is working with the client, there are some points to keep in mind. So, what are the points that the therapist will want to include in the client or to foster in the client is closer agreement between the client's idealized and actual self. So the client is having some ideas about himself which is not true maybe, and the actual self is something else. So the therapist work or therapist's responsibility is to bring closer agreement between the idealized and actual self. Clear? So that
Yes,
will
ma'am.
okay. Then the next point is better self understanding. The client will have better understanding about everything once therapy is progressing towards finding more solutions or finding the answers to many questions that the client is looking for. There will be better understanding. There will be the third point is lower levels of lower levels of defensiveness, guilt, and insecurity. These are the focuses of the therapy. Okay, so the lower levels of defensiveness, guilt, and insecurity. There will be more positive and comfortable relationship with others, and an increased capacity to experience and express feelings at the moment they occur. Carl Rogers believed that people are trustworthy. So there are areas which would point out to the success of client-centered therapy also. So the therapist will not choose specific goals for the client. The life of the client is his own. So the therapist is not a part of it. So why should the therapist will get involved? Even for that matter, in no therapeutic intervention, the therapist gets involved in the life goals of the client. The life goals are set by the client only in consultation with the therapist. So the therapist does not choose specific goals for the client. The general goals of therapy are becoming more open to experience, achieving self trust, developing an internal source of evaluation, then being willing to continuously grow. Okay. So, what is the counseling process? According to Rogers, the counselor should provide conditions that would permit the self discovery. The client actually discovers himself or herself, and then it is encouraged by the therapist for personal growth. They will use whatever the self discovery they find while discussing with the in the session with the therapist, then it is used for personal growth. The normal core counseling process, as Carl Rogers has devised, the core condition is empathy, unconditional positive regard, and congruence. Congruence means genuineness of the counselor. Okay, so these are the core conditions which are very necessary for the counseling process or the therapeutic intervention to be successful. Empathy, unconditional positive regard, and congruence. Okay. Clear? So creating such a situation where these goals are achieved is very important. So the original short list of core conditions are unconditional positive regard, empathetic understanding, genuineness, transparency, self-disclosure, concreteness, cultural awareness. All this you must have studied in your papers, that there should be unconditional positive regard. That is talked about only in person-centered therapy, where the person is very important, and the therapeutic intervention itself will work with the client in such a manner, because it considers everybody as good only, human beings are good only. They will be growing positively in healthy directions. Okay. So the counselor will reframe the client's narrative and will confront the discrepancy in their account. The client may go on and on while talking about the issues that he is facing in his life. So it is the role played by the therapist how to bring back the client to the focused situation where he is focusing I don't want to give a long example again, it will take time, so there is so much to cover. So how you reframe your sentences is also important to bring back the client to understand that they are talking about a specific situation where they are important, because they are trustworthy and the client is trusted by the therapist. Okay, so you can work out or you can have mock sessions with your friends when you are studying these therapeutic interventions. Somebody becomes the client and somebody becomes the therapist. You think of a situation, then you play act, because there is also a play therapy we'll discuss. Okay. So it is a very radical approach. So the person is with a mask or with a face which has to be removed, and the person has to be shown his true self, and there is a very short gap that has to be achieved between the idealized and the real self. So here it is based on the Greek theater, the mask was used. So it is not to hide the character but to reveal the personalized character that the actors are playing. So here also the client is being helped to remove the mask he is wearing. Then, for example, we'll go back to the same example that we were discussing. The client decides that he can do some changes in the home environment to make peace with the situation. Then suddenly he knows that he is not so brave to face the father. Then he breaks down. He starts crying when he realizes the shortfalls. Okay, so the mask has to be removed so that they can see their own self. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Roger also uses the term external frame of reference to describe the lack of understanding and contact. So there are terms that we used. I will just read out the terms that the therapeutic intervention uses normally, and you all are familiar with it anyway. through the example. Unconditional positive regard, congruence, transparency, concreteness. Concreteness is the counselor's skill actually we are talking about in focusing the client's discussion in specific areas or on events and the client's thoughts and feelings, how they are important while the client is discouraged to go about the problem only because problem becomes negative and he is encouraged to focus on the positive aspects of his life. Okay, then there is self disclosure. What is self disclosure? Any idea about self disclosure? How much the therapist can disclose about him, about his own life. So that you can refer to the idea that the therapist is also familiar with what the client is saying. For example, the client says that my father is very loving also, but he is abusive. So these conflicting, self-contradicting statements should be understood by the therapist also. So the therapist cannot escape by saying, "Oh, how is that possible?" But you should because you are supposed to empathize with the client. So you should understand and know and let the client understand the fact that you are familiar with what they're saying. So to make it believable, the client has to trust or to make the client trust therapist, the therapist has to disclose some ideas about himself or about his life situation where it was the same that the client is saying. Two self-contradictory statements are given to explain a person. Clear?
Okay, ma'am.
सेल्फ डिस्क्लोजर बट यू शुड नॉट गो ऑन एंड ऑन अरे मेरे साथ भी ऐसे हुआ था पता है ऐसे ऐसे किया फिर मैंने तो थप्पड़ मारा मैंने ये किया मैंने वो किया नो नॉट दैट वे you just give one sentence or two sentences about yourself. Self disclosure is going to be harmful when the therapist is getting indulged in talking about himself only because here the client is encouraged to talk. Okay, so you just are there to ensure that the client understands that you understand him fully. So self disclosure and self expression are most likely are going to be helpful to the client and the therapist when they are relevant to the client and the client's present experience. They are a response to the client's experience.
Ma'am,
Yes.
he will disclose the true fact or correct, wrong fact of his life, the therapist.
True, true. Genuineness, congruence, we studied genuineness
Yes.
of the person has to be genuine. Nobody is a fool. You cannot fool somebody and say stories about your life which is not true. At some point, the therapist or the counselor is going to get caught. Okay, so it he has to be genuine. That is one condition when we started to discuss the therapy, genuineness, right?
Yes.
So they have to be genuine, the true stories only. Or else you can say, I understand, but I have never gone through that. I'm sorry you are going through such a situation. You can say that, but not any false stories because you yourself will forget about that next time the client may ask and you will not be able to answer. That is also possible. So there should be genuineness. It should be a true story. And they are a response to the client's experience. Self disclosure. Okay.
Yes.
So, reaction to the clients is persistent and particularly striking. Self disclosure. We are talking about self disclosure. So, in self disclosure, you it is a response to the client's experience. You are responding to the client's experience by agreeing that you understand him. That is why you are you are disclosing about yourself to make the client comfortable that he is not the only one who is suffering through such and is going through such a situation. There are others also who have faced difficult situations like this and they have overcome their difficulties. The idea is that, but you are not going to say it in such a way, अरे मैं तो इतने आराम से solve कर दी. You are finding it difficult. So what is there? Why you are crying? I didn't cry. It's not like that. Okay. And then in response to questions and requests from the client, the therapist will answer openly and honestly and helps the client to understand and dispel the mistake. There should not be any misunderstanding, or the client should not carry more questions about the therapist, whether it was true or not, and is afraid of asking the therapist that ये क्या सच में आपके साथ हुआ था या ऐसे ही बोल रहे, ऐसे भी बोल सकते हैं. They can say like that. Okay. So when it seems the client wants to ask a question but not directly voices it, so, the client, for example, the client will look at you with questioning eyes, but doesn't have the courage to ask you in detail, do you really understand what I'm saying, or you're just nodding your head? No, these are the inner voices that the client is having. So in such situations, you should be able to read the client's thoughts or beliefs or situation and ideas that are crossing his mind because of the facial expression that the client is making while speaking. Also, looking at your expression, the client is not convinced that he or she, the therapist, is clear about my situation. So in such a case, you can self disclosure, you can do this self disclosure. Okay. And to make an empathetic observation, at no point the client should feel that I am being judged. Okay. And you're there to offer insights and ideas so that the client is coming up with more ideas and his true persona is revolved and he is growing personally. Okay. In culture centered counseling, also, it's not important actually. So, can we skip that?
Yes.
You just go through that, it's not so important. It takes so much time actually. The course is huge. So, the counseling relationship is very important. So, the counseling relationship is between the counselor and the therapist. So, the techniques or any body of knowledge that is used, that is the philosophy of the process that is used for the betterment of the client's condition. Okay, so the counseling relationship is very important, and the counseling skills that are essential for the development are active listening, responding to clients through reflection of feeling and content, paraphrasing and summarizing, asking open questions, and responding appropriately to silence and clients' non-verbal communication. Okay. Since this is talking about a process which has to be followed in counseling relationship, I think this needs an example for which or you can understand. Active listening, you know what does it mean, right? You all had counselors. Some of you are counselors. How does it function? I mean, that day somebody was saying I'm a counselor and you use counseling in your job situation. or in any official relationship, you must be using situations to explain to the other person. That becomes counseling, let's say. Have you ever gone through a situation like that?
No,
No?
ma'am.
No? You don't counsel, or you don't make others understand what they need to do, or they have to do in your life?
Yes, ma'am, somehow.
Yes, to some extent you have. So when you are talking to somebody, what matters? Sometimes the person gets angry when you don't listen. Let's say it's your friend only, your best friend you are talking to. When they get to know that you're not paying too much attention what they're saying, they get angry, and or they get irritated. They tell you, "हाँ, सुनती नहीं हो मेरी बात, सुनो, ये सब फेंको, मेरी बात सुनो." बोलते हो कि नहीं?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is active listening? It is not just nodding your head. You have to ask questions. You need to get involved in listening to the client so that the client feels secure. Client, and your body language is also very important. The client is talking about something and you are khuzlaing your ear. So the person will know that the idea will get that the therapist is not so much interested in what I'm saying. Why did I open up? इसको सब कुछ क्यों बोल दिया? He'll make fun of it. Okay, so active listening also includes your body language. Okay, I chose to explain these processes actually because these need to be implemented when you become a counselor. Okay, so responding to clients through reflection of feeling and content. Since the client is interacting with you and trusting you to explain his situation and is opening up because they trust you, you have to respond to the client by reflecting on the feeling and content. Whatever content is there in the client's explanation of his situation, you have to be patient enough to understand the feeling and reflect through some action or body language or way of communication that you understand it. Then comes paraphrasing and summarizing. What is paraphrasing? For example, the client is saying something and is you are not clear. Instead of saying yes to that, or you want the client to think clearly. For example, the client is saying, my father is a nice person. I think he is a nice person, but when he is getting drunk, actually he behaves like that. Then he takes a pause and then says, no, no, the day he was sober, he was not drunk, but he was irritated at my mom when she said something, and when she cooked nice meal also, he didn't respond to that. So he's not a nice person. Then again he would say, so you think my father is a bad person because he does that, or all fathers are like that? So in such a situation, you have to make it very clear to the client, and the client has to understand you as a trustworthy person, and you are making the person who is sitting in front of you, the client, develop in the positive way. So what you will do, you will paraphrase that by picking up or something which the client is confused about. Then ask it. You said your father is nice. Yes, such in some situations they will be nice. Everybody is not bad always. Some people are bad in situations. It is the situation that they face in other immediate environments which makes them irritable. So it's not that what you are thinking. Maybe it could be that the persons that are involved in the father's life are not irritating him. It is the situation that he faced in the life, in the office situation, which is making him irritable. That also, by you are paraphrasing and you are summarizing the things also. So the client will be also very clear in understanding that, okay, this could be possible. And when the client is not opening up so much and is not saying, depending on the personality of the client also, you have to ask open-ended question, so that they will say in detail. Okay, otherwise it becomes a very strenuous process for the therapist also. And then you have to respond appropriately to silence and client non-verbal communication. Okay, so silence, acceptance, restatement, empathy, and immediately responding will occur most frequently with the client taking the lead. Okay, the client centered therapy, since we are talking about client centered therapy, silence is not a very nice thing to happen. That means there is something which is not working and the client is not feeling that the therapist is trustworthy. Okay, any doubts? Clear? So the process of client person centered therapy or client centered therapy is this: quick quickly, you are not supposed to give any suggestions in person centered therapy, and reassurances are avoided. You cannot reassure them that अभी से ये नहीं होगा, निश्चिंत रहो, मैंने सब देख लिया, ठीक कर लिया. This is not how it works. Okay, so empathy that we are talking about is, it involves understanding another individual by living in the internal frame of reference. So you are empathizing the person only by believing and understanding that whatever he is saying is actually believable and is really happening to the person at such degree of emotional uh, level, or feelings are affected in such a manner that I can feel it, because you're able to empathize the person in, and you can refer to the internal frame of references. You can have an internal frame of references and empathize with the person. So the goal, so what is the therapist's role here? The therapist's role is actually the belief and attitude to show the client that he believes him. So, use of self as an instrument for change is important in this therapy. So, the therapist will use the client, or not use the client, use the situation to help the client to improve in the positive direction, and he becomes an instrument of change. It focuses on the quality of the therapeutic relationship. It serves as a model for human beings struggling towards greater realness, because it is based on genuineness. It is genuine, integrated, and authentic. It can openly express feelings and attitudes which are present in the relationship with the client. Okay? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you understand whatever we are discussing. If you have any questions, you can ask. When I'm talking for continuously a long time and there is no response from your side, I have this fear that I got disconnected. Okay. Okay. So, therapy, or the goal of intervention or the therapy, is helping a person to become fully functioning, the openness to experience, trust in themselves, an internal source of evaluation, a willingness to continue growing. These are the therapeutic goals or the intervention goals. The client's experience in therapy is very important. As clients, they should feel that they are understood and accepted, and the defensiveness is not important to be used here in such a situation, because the client finds the therapist trustworthy. So they become more open to their experiences that they have had. So the therapeutic relationship activates client's self-healing capacity, because the client is here working on himself. That is why we are saying person-centered therapy or client-centered therapy. It is the client who's actually working on himself with the help of the therapist. Therapist is only a catalyst. Okay, so the relationship between the therapist and client is very important. Therapist listening, the listening capacity of the therapist, since we discussed about active listening, that doesn't have to be repeated again. It has to be in a very accepting way for the client. They will know that they are accepted by the therapist, that they are not criticized by the therapist. So, what is the relationship between the therapist and client in client centered therapy? We are talking about Rogers client centered therapy. Okay, so what is the relationship? Client centered therapy is also called person centered therapist. So, the therapist is a facilitator. He is just a facilitator. It is the client who is working on himself with the help of the therapist. So it is not technique oriented. That is why I said no intense training is required to use client centered therapy. The therapeutic relationship is the primary agent of growth in the client. The best source of knowledge about the client is the individual client only. You don't have to call the family to validate things and to help the client to change things in other therapies. It's not like that. Okay. So, what is the contribution of person centered therapy or client centered therapy? Is active role of responsibility of client, relationship centered. It is inner and subjective experience it focuses on. Focus on the therapist's attitude, focus on empathy, being present in the situation, and respecting the client's values. Okay. But the limitation here, even if there are so many good things about this person centered therapy or client centered therapy of Carl Rogers, the limitation is discounting the significance of the past. It doesn't focus on the past because it looks forward. It looks forward to make the person and help the situation, help the client to be more positive. It discounts the significance of the past, which is not a very doable thing. That is a limitation of this client-centered therapy. Then misunderstanding is the basic concept. While reflecting on feelings or something, there can be misunderstandings because it is the client's explanation. So you don't know how good the client is in explaining the situation. That is why there is paraphrasing. You paraphrase things and ask questions when you are not clear about the client's situation. Okay. And people in crisis situations often need more directive intervention strategies. Here in client centered therapy, you are giving the onus, or the client is responsible for everything that requires him to change in his life. But in crisis situations or difficult situations, there are many situations you will see where more directive intervention strategies are required, instead of giving the responsibility to the client only to solve the situation. Okay. The, and since it is a structured approach, the client might expect a more structured approach. Then they might think that it was not good, or was it good? They will be confused. So that could be a limitation of the therapeutic approach that is used in client-centered therapy. And in the book, these concepts are described. You can understand the concepts better if you go through the book. Active listening, being genuine, how to be genuine, reflection on content and feelings, appropriate self-disclosure, all that you can read from the book. Okay. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then comes family therapy. Do you think family therapy is important? We have so many therapeutic interventions, but do you really think that family therapy will work better than working with the person only? And which situations you can think of where family therapy will be required?
I think divorce case, ma'am. Husband, wife.
Okay, family. Family doesn't include only husband wife.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Hmm? Siblings can be misunderstandings, or parents with in-laws. It can be anything, right?
Yes,
Excuse me. Isn't it? It's family therapy, normally referred to as couple therapy, and family therapy, family systems therapy. It is a branch of psychotherapy which works with families and couples. Normally, we say that it is couples therapy because they only fight, and since they want to resolve the issues because they don't want to separate. In other cases, when you don't get along well with your friends or with your siblings, you know how to sort it out. But in a marriage situation, it is called couples therapy, because they want to sort it out, because they are planning for a futuristic life where they see the person as a part of their life also, the other person. Okay, so family therapy normally means couple therapy, but it is not only couple therapy. Okay, sometimes other members of the family are also involved, even if it is couples. So, in intimacy or in couples in intimate relationships, they are involved in family therapy. Family therapy refers to the joint treatment of two or more members of the same family in order to change unhealthy patterns of communication and interaction. Here, that is just the definition of what family therapy is. It is generally initiated because of psychological or emotional problems. Hmm. And normally it is the person who is going through too much difficulties goes for a therapy in the family therapy, and the person or the torturer or the culprit doesn't come for therapy looking for solutions. So it is a very complex situation that is created in family therapy because of the nature of the relationship that the two members are involved in, and how it is looked upon by each member. Okay. When a family is dysfunctional, the system as a whole fails. When there is fight, for example, between the partners, the children will suffer. So we are not looking at the children's psychological reaction to that, or how they perceive the situation to be, because it is a negative situation. It can have very bad effect on the children. So it is important when you are talking about family therapy that the children are also taken into account, and the partners or the couple that is involved are explained about its harm, the harmful impact on the children. Okay, so they come for divorce normally, or when there is a birth of a new sibling, there will be sibling rivalry. They will not tolerate the newborn or the next child in the family. The small one will be the center of attention. So that will affect the firstborn or the other children in the family in a different way because the situation changes. Okay. So in such situations, they are brought into a therapeutic setting and are counseled or given therapy or intervention is taken up. The history of family therapy you can study from the book. Okay. Initially, it was started as a social work movement because there were many divorces in the West, and it was a branch of psychotherapy which worked on child guidance movement and marriage counseling, that they started this couple therapy also. Okay. Then there is this psychodynamic family therapy, multiple family group therapy. Psychodynamic family therapy and multiple family group therapy you can read from the book, which is self explanatory. The techniques of family therapy is important, so we are going to discuss that. Okay, so family therapy uses a range of counseling and other techniques, including communication theory, media and communication psychology, psychoeducation, psychotherapy, relationship education, systemic coaching, systems theory, and reality therapy. And the number of sessions normally depends on the situation, and the intervention is taken up depending on the situation uh, and the seriousness of the situation. Normally, it is 5 to 20 sessions that are required for resolving an issue involving in the family. A family therapist normally meets several members of the family at the same time. Sometimes you will meet people one by one, and when it is important to make something clear to all the members in the family so that they are working together to solve the issue, the therapist may call the family members at the same time. This calling of all the family members at the same time has the advantage of making differences between the ways family members are perceiving mutual relations. What happens in families actually, there are people in your families also, you are close to one person. Even if you're close to everybody, you are close to one person and you confide in that person. So there will be also other members in the family if it is a joint family, and if it becomes a very difficult situation, complex situation actually, because people will be taking parts in discussions, and when the discussions lead to confusions and arguments, there will be a possibility of disagreement and fight, right? Normally बात करते करते झगड़ा भी हो जाता है families में, or it doesn't happen in your families.
It have, ma'am.
So it is normally a normal situation which is resolved very amicably and not a very difficult thing to handle, but sometimes it crosses the limits when it involves members who are not familiar with each other. For example, a new marriage has happened, a new person has come to the family, like a daughter in law, and the whole family is reacting, and the daughter in law is educated, so she participates in the arguments or discussions. Then it becomes a huge issue when she is supported by most of the members in the family, for example, but not the husband. So here the ego comes up, and then they start, it becomes an individual fight. The family members will be okay with each other. Next day morning, everybody will be having tea together. They will be talking to each other. They will not bring up the disagreement anymore. But the husband is very angry with the wife. That also can happen, right? Okay.
Yes,
Or you don't agree?
I agree. I agree.
The beauty of this subject is, the subject psychology is such that it touches different areas of our life. It talks about similar problems we have seen and we have avoided to talk about, or maybe we have made agreements with such situations that we don't bring it up so much to the front, and we don't discuss, thinking that it will bring down our reputation, or our people will misunderstand us. Okay, so the patterns, there are typical patterns in different families. So they mirror habitual interaction patterns at home. Even though the therapist is now understanding the system, how the family is working, it becomes very difficult to invade and get into the system of the family and make changes to the situation, right? It is very it is very difficult to enter a family situation where there is a particular system and the therapist is not very sure how to handle the situation and make changes. So therapeutic intervention will normally focus on relationship patterns instead of analyzing the impulses of the on childhood trauma of somebody, or what happened with the grandfather parents or something. They will focus on analyzing the relationship patterns first. Okay, so the distinctive feature of family therapy is the perspective that is taken and the analytical framework that is referred to by the therapist while dealing with such situations, while working with different members of the family. So it is not the number of people that are present in the therapy session is important. What is important then? What is your approach to analyze the situation? Especially as the family therapists are relational therapists. They're generally more interested in what goes on between individuals. Okay, since it has come with a family problem to the therapist, so the therapist will not be interested anymore in finding out the personal difficulties that each member is facing. They will work on the family system, how to improve it so that there will be less misunderstanding and problems in the family system, where everybody is taken care of and everybody is given the freedom that they can interact freely without any intervention from the therapist side, because we want to maintain the family as a system, as one unit, not the person that becomes important. Okay, any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, clear about the techniques?
Yes.
So there are different models of family therapy. There are many models that we can talk about. So you can go through. There is a table actually given in your book. There is this. I'll just read out which is more discussed normally as a very important family therapy model. There are so many. Okay. Like who is the theorist and what are the techniques that they use. For example, there is this Bovenian family system. It was given by Murray Bowen, and it is also known as the intergenerational family therapy. The family members are normally taken into account to achieve a balance of internal and external differentiation. Families are affected by nuclear family emotional processes. It is the summary that Bovinian family system talks about is there is this cognitive behavioral family therapy, then collaborative language systems family therapy, Adlerian family therapy, attachment theory therapy, communications approaches, contextual therapy, emotion focused therapy, experimental family therapy, feminist family therapy. Then there is this Milan systematic family therapy, medical family therapy, MRI brief therapy, narrative therapy. There are so many actually. There is no point in just reading out the name. It will waste our time and it will take time. We can focus on other things. Okay. These are just the names, and you just have to remember what are the details about the situation and who started the therapy and what are the approaches that they follow. Clear? Group psychotherapy. When you talk about group therapy or group psychotherapy, it is the form of psychotherapy in which there will be a group which will be treated by the therapist as a whole. Each individual member becomes less important. Okay? So, in the broader concept of group therapy, it refers to any helping process that takes place in a group, including there are support groups, then there are tea groups, and so many. You have studied about groups, right, in social psychology?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, you can relate to. That is what happens in group therapy, and in the group context, the group process is understood explicitly by the therapist, and that is used as a mechanism for changing or for developing, exploring, and examining the interpersonal relationship within the group. Okay, so what is the difference between, or we are comparing, for example, group therapy and individual therapy? Group therapy is different from individual therapy, that you all understand. Okay, right? Originally,
Yes,
group
ma'am.
therapy originally group therapy was used as a cost saving measure. Since individual therapy sessions were so expensive, people wanted to go in groups, or they wanted to be taken as a group to solve the important issues, and they ignored the individual issues. They thought, let us work on group issues. So, in such cases, they wanted cost saving measures. So, in institutional setups, for example, in an organization, when there is something going not going very smoothly because of the disagreement between the group members, between in the inside the department, for example, in the sales department, no one is talking to each other because everybody is busy in achieving the target because there is incentive attached to the target. So, what will happen? They will not talk to each other. They will be always at loggerheads when they talk to each other. They will be meeting also. When they will be meeting for lunch also, it will be a silent room only. There will be no interaction, which is not a very good site for the organization. So in such cases, group therapy will be very helpful in institutional settings. Okay. The aim of group therapy is to help the, in solving the problem of emotional difficulties and to encourage the personal development of the participants in the group. So, the therapist in the group therapy is called a conductor, leader, or facilitator. Conductor, leader, facilitator, whatever you can say, he is, he becomes that. So, he chooses he chooses candidates of group of people who can benefit from this kind of therapy and those who may have a useful influence on the other members in the group. The facilitator or the leader or the therapist will decide actually who will be participating in which time, so he will be having it easy to influence them and achieve the target. Okay, any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so the
Ma'am,
therapeutic,
ma'am,
yes,
is sociometry related to this therapy? We can use sociometry for this also?
we are talking about therapeutic interventions.
Yes, ma'am.
Group therapy is a technique actually which is used as an intervention process to make changes. Why intervention is taken up? Because you want to see some good positive changes in somebody or in a group, right?
Yes, yes.
So sociometry that will measure only.
Yeah, yeah. You can make.
Okay. So the therapeutic principles that it is based on is Yalom six. It's very ancient Yalom. I don't know why it is introduced here. Okay. Universality, altruism, installation of hope, imparting information, corrective recapitulation of the primary family experiences, development of socializing techniques, imitative behavior, cohesiveness, existential factors, catharsis, interpersonal learnings, and self understanding. These are all explained in short 2-3 lines in your book. So these are self-explanatory. Most probably you don't need any explanation for that. So I'll skip that portion. But I will again refocus your attention on the idea that why we are discussing clinical psychology about the intervention process, and the subject psychology is so interrelated. The other day I was saying, so each term will remind you of something. It was a very good question somebody asked if it is sociometry. No, it is not, because group therapy is, we should not forget, since we are discussing so many therapies and the ideas about the principles are derived from known theories, it takes your mind off from the intervention process that we are going to use by using these techniques. But our idea is to use different processes, then we'll see how these are included in one approach. You are taking ideas about solving a situation by taking ideas from the technique of Freud, and then you are taking ideas from behaviorism, then you are focusing at one point when the person has changed enough or has been helped enough, then you decide to take points from client centered therapy or person centered therapy, because you realize that the person needs to change and become a good person. Okay, so these are all intervention techniques only we are talking about in therapy. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Okay. So the setting, what should be the setting of a group therapy? That is all given here. You can go through that. Functioning of therapy groups. Uh, These are all self-explanatory actually. Let us skip that because later on you can study about them all. So what is the advantage of group therapy? When people come to a group therapy and interact freely with other group members, they normally difficulties, recreate those difficulties that brought them to group therapy in the first place. So they are actually sharing the difficulties that they are facing, and also becoming aware about the alternatives that is available by interacting with other group members. and they can comfort the other members when they find others are also in the same situation. They don't feel so disheartened. The group normally allows a person to develop new ways of relating to people. It helps people to look at a similar situation from a different perspective, because you are interacting with other people who have also gone through the same situation. So it gives perspective to your situation. You refocus your attention to the problems that you are having. Okay. So another reason for the success of group therapy is that people feel free to care about each other, because the climate of trust in a group. Okay. There are T groups, sensitivity groups, sen- encounter groups, marathon groups, task groups. There are different types of groups that are available. You can go through that in your book. Okay. If you find it difficult, you can clarify your doubts anyway. Then couples therapy. Am I audible? Am I connected?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Since I'm connected through the phone, when a call comes, it gets confusing. Okay. Couples therapy. So the term itself implies that it involves marriage counseling and marital therapy. Couple therapy focuses on the problems existing in the relationship between two people. It's normally between the husband and wife, but there are also couples these days. mm, like there are lesbian couples, and I have handled myself. LGBTQ community has come up with so many dimensions of relationship and different ways of explaining their relationship with each other. It is also going to use the techniques used in couple therapy, because they are acting as couples, right? Even if it is not given, there are clients who will come as couples to you who are belonging to the LGBTQ community. Okay, so it focuses on two people normally, where there are two partners. You can say it that way. So even if it is not included, there will be areas where you will not find a typical husband-wife talking about couple therapy, or talking about family problems. Okay, sometimes you need to educate them about few aspects of life, because, for example, uh, in arranged marriages, people, two partners, two young boy and young girl got married, and they were not explained about what to expect, what to do in a family situation, and because they were very young and not educated so much. So it also involves educating the people involved in the therapy, that they come for help. There are many different approaches to couple therapy, which could be used alone or combined with other methods by the therapist. As I was saying, eclectic approach, we'll discuss about that. Among the oldest, it is the psychodynamic approach, which Freud has talked about, which says that all our problems lie in the childhood trauma. Okay, so it also normally you would find Freud was true to some extent when talking about the idea that most of our problems are unresolved conflicts coming from our childhood days or younger days, which are not addressed properly. For that, people face problems when they get married or they are involved in intimate relationships. So, what is the psychodynamic therapy doing with couple counseling? As this approach is well suited for working with couples counseling, it identifies emotions that manifest in behavior. It identifies actually, for example, let's say the child has in the oral stage or something, or during the developmental years, if you go back to a stage where the child was not handled properly by the parents, that will give wrong ideas to the child, developing child, about marriage. And when he develops it, develops with the trust issue. Hmm. So that is one way of using couple therapy. One of the main goals of psychodynamic therapy is client self-awareness. So in Freudian psychology, you are becoming aware about the root cause of the problem, where it started, how the past can influence the present behavior. The present behavior is a byproduct of the past that has made you believe that the other person is not trustworthy, because you have developed trust issues by watching your parents fight all the time. Okay. Then there is the systems approach and couple counseling. Client centered therapy can be used for couple counseling. Behavioral approach can be used. Okay, these are the different approaches which can be used for couple counseling. There is so much actually. I'm just any questions meanwhile I'm going through the book. Any questions? Which needs to be explained actually, the technique. I'm taking up that where it is given with examples. I'm leaving that. I trust that you will understand it completely because it is given with an example. The book is very good. Take it from me, because I have seen so many books, but these books are really good. Okay, so that is all about couple counseling. You can read from the book by your organization, IGNOU. You can go through the examples and understand them very clearly. I'm sure about that. Okay, is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Or are you people are used to being taught everything in detail in these 2 hours? It will confuse you. Which needs to be explained. Actually, I'm explaining about that, and I'm leaving the rest, which you can use later on while reading. If you find it difficult, also you can ask. Is that okay? We have 4 units in this, so there is so much actually. So, how to integrate all this that we have studied today and we have been studying for the last 2 days? Uh, because you are not going to depend on one therapy as such and say that I am using psychoanalytic approach in resolving the conflicts of this client of mine. No, you are going to develop your own technique when you are into the process of handling counseling sessions. Right? Any of you is practicing counseling or is at a school? You would find it very important to change your approach. Sometimes you may start with something, then you decide not to continue with that. You can jump to other situations also, and in which case, which is the best solution, you will decide by your own experience. So the fourth unit emphasizes on helping you to construct your own integrated approach to psychotherapy. Because you are moving towards an integrated approach to therapy, you will have to have basic ideas and understanding about all the therapeutic intervention processes so that you can decide upon which you need to use in which case, depending on the situation, depending on the disability or on the problem or on the illness. You will decide which therapy will work the best. For example, anxiety. For anxiety, you can use CBT, and there are some cases also which work in combination with medication. So you cannot prescribe medication, so you can refer them to the psychiatrist. So in many ways you can be helpful by understanding the situation, and the therapeutic intervention is always not required. Sometimes it needs medication. Okay, so integrative psychotherapy, what is integrative psychotherapy? It is an attempt to combine the concepts and counseling interventions from more than one theoretical psychotherapeutic approach. So you are using more than one approach in integrative psychotherapy. It is not a particular combination of counseling theories. It consists of a framework for developing the integration of theories. Within this integrative therapy, we have meaning therapy. Meaning therapy is an integrative approach. So meaning therapy is also known as meaning centered counseling and psychotherapy. It is an integrative positive existential approach to counseling and psychotherapy. Integrative psychotherapy offers a safe environment for the exploration of body, mind, emotion, and spirit, and their impact on health, personal fulfillment, and relationships. Because everybody is unique, the approach is normally according to your particular needs and wishes. It integrates everything, and it is used for the person's development, maximum development possible in different areas, be it physical, or maybe it could be mental, or it could be spiritual, or any other integration process. You are using it for the development of the person only. Okay. Then there is this EMDR. Then there is this EFT, emotional freedom technique. These are all different types of therapeutic interventions or therapies which you can use in your treatment process. Okay. So integrative therapy, what is the historical aspect of integrative therapy? It draws on some oldest techniques of psychotherapy. It was developed during the 70s. The integrative psychotherapy model actually realizes and recognizes the use of therapeutic approaches such as humanistic, cognitive, gestalt, and psychodynamic, and attempts to fuse them into an approach that is useful to the individual. It is used on individuals, single individuals, the facilitation of a person's wholeness to improve their quality of life. An integrative approach, since it is taking concepts from different theories, it is used on the person to develop him into a whole new person if they want to, or make changes in different areas of their life, whether it is emotional or psychological, social or mental or spiritual, or we talk about body, mind, spirit being in coherence with each other. So that is also the focus of integrative therapy. Okay. You can study this on your own. There's nothing to discuss actually in this. Is that okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Any questions? Rather, we should discuss the 15 minutes we are left with. We should discuss anything that confuses you, or you can come up with your questions when you go through the book later on. Hmm? There are multi theoretical approaches also. Recently, therapists have developed a multi theoretical approach to therapy. Then there is the trans theoretical model. These are all not so important to explain. These are for you to understand and integrate into your approach so that you are comfortable with the concepts and you are using them practically when you are using the techniques. Okay. So cognitive strategies that you use with to deal with focal dimensions of clients' functional dysfunctional thoughts, which includes behavioral skills, psychodynamics, systemic, multicultural, all that we studied is given here. Similarly, all the points that we discussed are given here as a summary in the book, so you can go through that. And anything that confuses you, you go in detail in the book and clarify your doubts when you are not clear about it after reading it out on your own also. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Any questions? Anything that you want to discuss about psychological interventions? Because it's always me doing the talking. So if you are planning to become a psychologist, you have to do the talking also. So you have to be very clear about what to say next when a client is there sitting in front of you looking at you with innocent eyes. Okay. So when you are listening to everything, everything becomes very understandable. You think, oh, this I can understand, I can use. But you should really know that it is a very rare sight where you find a therapist in confusion and doesn't know what to say to the client. That also happens because sometimes the clients start crying, they become uncontrollable. So you don't know how to react. Such situations are not always expected, and you don't expect that somebody will come today and he will cry, he or she will cry, and what should I do? You cannot read that from book. You have to work impromptu, right? So there are situations where all the theories will not work. You have to come up with your own technique. You will give a chocolate, for example, to the small child who has come with the mother, so that attention is diverted to the child and the mother gets time to recover herself from the crying situation and talk. Anything that you can do and arrange in the clinic. Normally, I keep a bowl of chocolates in the clinic, so I give it after the sessions. Anything, some small gestures from your side has to be there to make the client comfortable, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions? No? This is the total strength always.
No, ma'am.
Why only 3 students, I wonder? You're always 3 students, 3, 4 students?
No, no, ma'am. Some students quitted,
Some students are?
exited.
Sorry?
Some students are leaving now.
They left?
Yes, yes.
Okay. We can end the session if you don't have anything to ask, because the question that you are not asking questions, and I think I cannot start block 4 with such a short period left, such a small period of time left. We'll
Yes,
start
yes.
block 4. We'll do block 4 tomorrow, not today. Okay?
Yes, yes.
Is that fine? We can end the session.
Yes, yes.
Okay then. Take care, all of you. Bye.
Thank you.